guys? Welcome back to another episode of BAMGPG. I'll be your host, Bryson.
And I'll be your co-host, Ben.
And today we're going to talk about the NBA All-Star bracket this year. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe and go check out our TikTok, BAMGPG.
Absolutely, Bryson. So let's get into it. So the games were tonight, as we mentioned previously, a little bit different style this year. So they had 4 different teams competing in there tonight. So you had the OGs with Team Shaq, and then you kind of had the Rising All Stars, right? I think it was
Chuck's Global Stars and Kenny's Young Stars.
Yes, absolutely. So those were your 4 teams in it tonight. Unfortunately, LeBron was not part of the games tonight. I believe he was resting his ankle, so didn't matter much, though.
His 24th All-Star appearance.
It's crazy. He's still playing at a high level, being over 40 years of age. So, is he 40? He is, I believe. But it's just crazy, right? Still playing at a very high level, even at that age. You mentioned it's 21st All-Star game, right? So, let's kind of digress a little bit here, Bryson. So, a little different format this year, right? So, rather than having, the East...
They said the shot clock was going to be off, but it wasn't.
No, so there was no game clock. There was the 24-second shot clock in the game, but it was still fun, right? I don't know if they needed to have the shot clock. They were moving the ball up and down the court pretty quickly. There wasn't a whole lot of defense. I mean, there at moments there were some defense, a little bit of effort anyway. We'll call it that, a little bit of defensive effort at moments in the game, but for the most part, it was an offensive show, right? So it was fast-paced, exciting to watch.
I'm surprised Shaq's OGs almost lost to the Rising Stars.
They did. That was a lot closer than what the final game was against the international team there. So that was surprising. The Rising Stars, young guys out there trying to make a name for themselves, trying to prove themselves.
They did.
They did. I thought so too. I thought they played well against the OGs, right? So let's kind of preview some of the games here real quick that took place tonight. All right, so let's go to this one here first. We'll save the championship one from last. So let's go to Team Candace. So Team Candace versus Team Shaq. So the OGs took this one. As you mentioned, it was a lot closer than we expected, 42-35. Good performances. Trying to look.
The one thing I think Team Shaq wasn't playing their best ball because they were saving it for the finals.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. They really turned it on in the finals. There's no doubt about that. So James Harden, 3 points, nothing huge out of him. So it looks like Damian Lillard. He was really shooting the ball well that first game when we watched it, and one of your guys, Jaylen Brown, 8 points coming off the bench that first game. Probably the most competitive game of the night, if you ask me, 42-35. So it was fun to watch, right? The young guys played with a lot of heart out there, right? They probably played more defense than the other 3 teams. But that was certainly a fun game to watch, absolutely. So let's go to the other one before we get into the final game here. Team Chuck and Team Kenny. So this one ended 41-32 in the semifinal.
Yeah. I thought Team Kenny would actually win.
Did you? You had Team Kenny win this one. I kind of figured, there's a plethora of young, excellent talent internationally in the NBA now. So I kind of figured they would probably take it. I mean, they had a star-filled team as well with Nikola Jokic, Wemby, Donovan Mitchell. So they had an excellent team. So that one, it didn't feel as close as the other first game, but Team Chuck came out of that one with the dub. So that brings us to the finals. Let's go ahead and pull up that box score here for everyone.
Team Shaq versus Team Chuck.
Right, here we go. So 41-25. So this one really wasn't close. There really weren't a whole lot of competitive moments in this game. Not a lot of defense at all. Team Shaq, if I remember before that first break, they were up 11-1 lead right out of the gate. So kind of the standouts for me here. Tatum obviously had a good game. I mean, he nearly had half their points, 15 points for Tatum, and I think he had the ceiling dunk to win the game for him there to put him at 41. Super impressed with Steph Curry in this game. I think at one point he fired up a half-court shot and drained it. So
yeah,
Steph was. Let's see where he was. 3-point range. So 4 for 8. Just seemed like he couldn't miss there towards the end. So he finished with 12 points that game. And then the other guy, I want to kind of give kudos to him on Kenny's team is Wemby. I've watched him a little bit, Bryson, but watching him tonight, I mean, for a guy his height, he's athletic. He's sneaky athletic. He was firing up threes with good accuracy, and he's got good ball handling skills. For a guy that's 7'4", 7'5", however tall he is. So I was super impressed with him. I think he's going to be a star in this league for years to come, as long as he can keep his legs under him. What was kind of your takeaway from watching this?
Yeah. Shaq just stood out. Team Shaq.
Yeah. Yep, Team Shaq. I mean, as we mentioned, it wasn't really competitive. Again, there wasn't a whole lot of defense being played. Wemby had a couple blocks, if I remember. But, outside of that, there wasn't a whole lot of defense being played during the game. So, offensively, though, boy, it was a fireworks show out there. So it was fun to watch from that aspect. You never anticipate a lot of defense being played in an all-star weekend, but it was certainly different, right? The format was different. It was fun to watch. I'm guessing probably heading into next season, they'll probably change it up a little bit. Hopefully not too much, because this was kind of fun to sit down and watch on a Sunday evening. What was kind of your thoughts on it? If
I had one thing they would change up.
Yeah.
I wish they would turn off the shot clock.
Yeah, no shot clock. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. Absolutely. There really wasn't a need for a shot clock when you kind of look back at it, because they were, moving the ball up and down the court pretty quickly. There wasn't a whole lot of designed offense out there. Just kind of real street ball, as you would say, out there. But it was fun. It was fun to watch. Real fast-paced game.
Mm-hmm.
So, congrats to Team Shaq and the OGs. It was fun to watch, and I hope they kind of stick with this format, because you almost got an Olympic feel out of it, right? Because you look at the OGs, it's all American players, right? Because you have your international team.
Dad, if there was one thing you had to change about it, what would you change?
I think finding an incentive to play a little more defense, and I don't know how you would do that, right? And especially, kind of being in the mid-season, you don't want to risk injury to any of your players with the All-Star game being mid-season. But if there was one thing I could change, maybe trying to find a way to entice these guys to play a little bit of defense. Outside of that, I don't know if there would be a whole lot that I would change about this format. I thought it was fun, and it gave some of these younger guys who aren't getting a look out on the court during the regular season a chance to shine a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Bryson? What would be one thing you would change about this weekend?
Mm, maybe. Maybe like create a bigger bracket, like 8 teams.
Create a bigger bracket and maybe expand your all-star rosters, I guess, so to speak.
8, yeah, 8 teams, 7 GMs.
Yeah, so 8 teams. You got your expand your GMs or your coaches a little bit on the teams, and maybe this is where you can kind of dive deeper into those G League games, dive deeper into some of the rookies, and give them some exposure, right? Some positive exposure, some chances they normally wouldn't get during the season, right? See how they stack up against the OGs or even the international team who are, lots of, as we mentioned, a lot of great players coming from
Mr.
overseas.
Beast showed up, and I can't remember what it was, but Mr. Beast showed up.
Yeah, so they had a little competition. It was like a half-court competition or a half-court shot where...
It was 3 pointers.
Yep. So it was 3-pointers. I think they were trying to do like the logo. It wasn't quite half-court, but like a logo type of shot for a 3-pointer. So they did it for $100,000, right? And it was a random fan out of the stands competing against Damian Lillard. And Damian Lillard had to make 3, whereas the fan chosen at random only had to make 1. So that one came down to the wire, so that was kind of fun to watch as well, right? That one, I think Dame he had made 2, and then right before they were getting ready to cut to a commercial break, the fan ended up draining that shot from the logo. So congrats to him. He's going home with $100,000 more than what he started with for tonight.
Yeah.
So overall, positive. For me, I think the NBA did it right this weekend.
Yeah.
So looking forward to the rest of the season. We'll see how things shake out, and we'll kind of cover it a little bit as we get down the stretch here. See if my Bulls can sneak in, and I think you're pretty safe with your Celtics.
Yeah.
The only thing,
I'm pretty sure it's impossible for us to not make the playoffs at this point.
yeah, I mean, you guys are pretty secured in the number 2 seed right now, and you're playing catch-up ball with Cleveland to get to that number 1 seed. So you guys are safely in. We'll see if my Bulls can pull it out and get into the play-in at the very least.
And as always,
Go Pack, go.